Last episode ended kind of exciting. We got our new patron for the Sharma mines, and it is no one else but our British Lord Christian de Clare. Now, we thought this man had forgotten all about us, but it seems like words are flying, and the fact that we are trying to take over the Sharma estate while others are trying to hinder us has made its word around town, and he knew about it, and he also remembered us from episode 2, as in he remembered us from 5 years ago. And besides becoming our main customer and new patron, he decided to invite us to a gala that he's managing, and now I'm intrigued why he wants us there in the first place, but we will see. A reception promises to be interesting. Oh god, okay. Episode 6, Sparks in the Darkness. Is Christian the darkness? Lord de Clare told them about a reception he planned to host as Governor General. He wanted to invite both sides, as he believed the already fragile peace needed to be cultivated. You think? Kamal suggested they could discuss that after signing the deal over a cup of tea, away from the heat of the day. The pavilion at the Sharma mines was used by nobles, important customers, and investors to discuss business with the head of the family. Well, this bitch has no reason to be coming at us because we signed the deal, bitch. Once the guests were seated, Arad went to make tea. Christian and Diana began to discuss the proposal. No one expected the Lord to be able to speak Bengali. I did say this man is an icon. I made that small comment. If this man is capable to speak Bengali, then it would be such a badass move. And he can. That was not a known fact about him. Everyone was desperately trying to remember if they had said anything untoward while thinking that he couldn't understand them. Like, that's the most hilarious thing in my eyes, if you guys want my opinion. If I have someone in front of me and I speak in my first language to a family member or to my best friend, and I'm like talking bad about the person in front of me, and then they turn around, smile at me, and they talk back in my first language, I'm like, oh god, damn. Like, that's when you really feel screwed. Kamal asked to be excused for a moment to speak aside with Devi and Saraswati. Oh, this old bitch. He folded his arm over his broad chest and gave the women a staring look. Well, good to explain. No. To be quite honest, this is ridiculous. From one side, I do understand the situation could have went very, very badly, okay? I understand. And technically, sadly, Kamal is our main guardian after Kairas died. But we were capable to make the damn deal. So what is this bitch still complaining about? I don't understand. If we are supposed to deal with our affairs, and that meeting at the Dozen with all the rest of the members after our training was supposed to be a decision whether or not we could take care of our family's affairs, then they also expected us to be capable to deal with our family's affairs and not to still have someone walking all over us and not to have someone still having to take care of our affairs. Like, this was the time where we had to take matters into our own hand. We need to be capable to make decisions by ourselves without having someone else around. And the fact that he's complaining that we decided to go with our gut feeling and to be responsible and seal the deal like Kairas would have done is pissing me the F off. Like, this man needs to back down. Yes, it could have gone badly, and that he's voicing his concerns about that would be normal, I understand. But the fact that he's so pissed about that, shut up. That, aren't you going to thank me? She shrugged her shoulders, chuckling. While you were solving problems with Miss Bazoo, I was solving problems with Lord de Clare. We did a great job, we're a good team. Kamal shook his head, disapproving of her playful tone. Well, what do you expect from me, bitch? It's not just anyone but the Governor General. I hope you're aware of that. Very much, sir, thank you. Yes, I am, although it would have been great to find out about that in advance. Sighing heavily, Kamal replied slowly and clearly. You would have found out if you had waited for me. Never mind, we'll discuss this later. I will discuss nothing with you later. We saved the damn deal, so shut up. He said those last words as if to put an end to the conversation. Davy didn't protest. What would have been the point anyway? Kamal walked past her, glaring daggers at Arat. The assistant was going to have to explain to Mr. Rai how exactly he let Davy slip away. Kamal went to talk to the Lord to discuss his opinion about the proposal. I'm sorry, Kamal can fuck off. He can fuck off. He's not our brother. Yes, he's our main guardian. But he was supposed to take care of us while we were training to could be capable to take over the tasks that our brother used to do. Once we take over those tasks, Kamal has no reason saying anything to us. So this was like proving that we're capable to take over our brother's tasks. What is this bitch complaining about? I'm sorry, he can fuck off. Saraswati gently touched Davy's hand with hers to get her attention. She moved closer to talk quietly, but Davy didn't hear the first few words. She turned her head and stared at Saraswati's long dark eyelashes. Her bright eyes sparkled as she was talking about something enthusiastically. Her plump lips were moving softly, and her sweet smile was disarming. Oh, we're simping. Are you listening? Davy blinked several times. Her mind had wandered away. Yes? Let's go for a walk. We need to talk without being overheard or bothered. She took Davy by her arm and led her out of the pavilion. Yeah, please. So that I don't have to see Kamal's fucked up face. Arad followed them at a distance to make sure they didn't go too far. Standing in the shadow of the trees, Sarah asked bluntly. The Lord mentioned the reception. Did you hear? Yes, but what kind of reception are we talking about? And why would we want to attend? Mother said that the CLARE has an unconventional way of looking at things. He willingly works with both the locals and his own countrymen. But inviting us there? Maybe he wants to sign your deal and then show you off in front of his people as if you were his puppet. Davy smirked, vividly imagining what an outrageous show she could put on if that was really the Lord's plan. Did he really want to drag her to his reception to brag to his friends? He'd only make things worse for himself. Do you think that's his plan? I don't know. What was he like? Was he respectful? Very. He seemed to be... He was fine. Attending that reception is a bad idea. No one in their right mind would do such a thing. We need to get out of it somehow. This is an awkward situation. How can we refuse? But I'm sure if we had invited them first, they'd be the ones racking their brains to find an excuse. Do you know what Mother always tells us? If you can't change your circumstances, turn them to your advantage instead. Exactly. Dress in the most beautiful way and make all them drop at their feet. Let them know that they can play you. Saraswati's signature smile had Davy confused. What are you planning? Nothing much, but you gave me an idea. I'm simply going to turn the situation to our advantage. And how are you going to do that exactly? We need to find out what it is that Lord the CLARE wants to get out of this reception, and then I'll know for sure if my plan will work. Saraswati headed back inside. Davy followed her, wondering about what she was scheming. She's gonna do something. Taking the teacups from Arad's hands, the young woman looked thoughtfully at Kamal. Right at that moment, he got up from his seat and beckoned them to come closer, a satisfied smile on his face. Yeah, we did everything, no thanks to you. Devya considered his pleased expression as a good sign. He already did say he was gonna invest, so what is this bitch complaining about? When Devi and Saraswati sat down next to each other, Arad put teacups in front of them. Then it's settled. You've made the right choice. He is kind of fine. I'm not saying he's not. I must admit, I made up my mind half an hour ago, as I was talking to Miss Sharma. She's very knowledgeable. I like that. Yeah, no thanks to you, bitch. The man's eyes turned to Devi. Kamal looked at her with pride, Christian with interest. I'll tell my people to prepare the necessary papers. He didn't take his eyes off Devi. He saw her as his business partner, not Kamal. Period. Because Kamal has no fucking business being there. Like, we signed the fucking deal. Like, who are you to say something? At this point, Kamal literally is just the assistant, making sure of the paperwork. That's the only thing this man is doing. We're the business partner. You haven't done shit in order to contribute to the success of the situation. After all, she was the one who closed the deal. Shut up. Dignity. Period. I'm pleased to hear that. Kamal didn't have to do anything, as he already convinced the Lord. People will hear about this. Good. Let them know that Kamal didn't do shit. Christian was sitting on one sofa, Kamal on another. Saraswati sat down as far from the Lord as she could. She clearly disliked the Claire and preferred to keep her distance. And he noticed. Their assistants Arat and Diana couldn't sit with them, so they settled to the side. Devi sat next to, in a separate chair, next to Christian. I'm sitting next to this child. I'm sitting next to my second soulmate. Without thinking twice, Devia sat down next to the Lord de Clare, keeping her back straight. She held up her teacup and looked at Kamal first, then at Christian. Finally, our main task is accomplished. We'll probably be seeing a lot of each other from now on. I'm looking forward to it, sweetheart. The Governor General himself has vowed to become the patron of my mines. I shall consider myself very fortunate. Devi's smile was sincere, but there was a clear hint of mockery in her words. Or perhaps I should call this fortune my own. Please, you will be seeing a lot from me from now on. If you want to see me, you can just ring. I will be very happy. You aren't nervous in the Lord's presence and he noticed it. Oh, I'm fine, sir. You can move closer. Like, there is so much distance between the both of us. You can come closer. Like, my leg is over here. You can put your hand on my leg. Like, it's fine. We're all friends here. I'm sorry. Christian responded with a similar ironic grin. Devya stared into the man's bright blue eyes. Was he teasing her? Please be teasing me, baby. You can tease me all you want. And why would you think so? You'll understand at the reception. We didn't know you were fluent in Bengali. I try not to let people know about it. It's very useful. I'm learning a lot of new things this way. You're remarkably perceptive, Miss Basu. I'm simply not in the habit of being remarkably fooled. Oh, Sarah. Sarah showing the hate. Shall we discuss the details of the deal? The Lord leaned back, crossing his legs. When my people will deliver all the necessary papers, Miss Sharma, we will sign a contract of cooperation and shake hands. We'll be waiting. What about your reception? You mentioned you wanted to tell us more? Christian nodded, holding his teacup carefully. I have long planned to throw a gathering to bring together the British expatriates who are loyal to me and the Indian nobility. After all, you play an equal role in the future of Bengal. Even though in the past there have been some hurdles, I'm confident not all ties between us have been severed. Hurdles? Is he talking about Rati Zev? She was supposed to be his fiancée. He must be aware of how and where she died. Kamal stroked his beard, wondering how much truth there was in the Lord's words. On reception, for everyone. Yes, and now that we've established a fruitful cooperation, it will even be more symbolic. Neither Saraswati nor Kamal or Devi could publicly voice their concerns, but all three felt anxious and uneasy. Yeah, because he can understand, so it's not like they can switch to Bengali. He understands. Would they all be required to attend the British reception? Go to a foreign house among foreigners? It would be such an easy way to gather them together and slaughter them all again. I don't think that they would risk that, though. Like the British prince is there, like the British lord is there. A deep wrinkle formed between Kamal's eyebrows. He was clearly having the same thoughts, but they couldn't give that as the reason for their refusal. It would have been offensive to the Governor General. If those responsible for the fire in the Himalayas had been found, it would have caused another uprising, a war, but there was no clear evidence to reveal who might have been involved. No one was going to willingly attend the Lord's reception. It was too dangerous. Saraswati came to the rescue. If that's what you are thinking, let us demonstrate our hospitality. We will host the reception. We will prove to you that our celebrations are just like our precious stones. Beautiful. Go off, queen. Saraswati wanted to move the reception to a safe place and was trying to sweet-talk the Lord so that he would find her words persuasive enough. Your priority? Legacy. Exactly. She's pretending that hosting the British expatriates would be her greatest pleasure, but in fact she doesn't even want to sit near the Lord. She's speaking with her most dazzling smile, trying to get him to agree to this change. It would be safer this way. Sarah truly knows what she's doing. He won't be offended by her refusal, but he might be the one refusing. This is brilliant. Sarah turned to Davy. The Sharma estate is very impressive. The head of the family will host us and make sure that you and your guests have the most lovely time. Am I right? That's right. I can't. Debbie didn't even blink, keeping her face impassive. You've made a deal with me, so let me host you in my house. You're right, not all ties between us have been severed. Saraswati swallowed, turning to look at Christian. She was relieved that David played along. That's an interesting proposal. I'm pleased that we see eye to eye. Dignity! Kamal watched him without saying a word. You supported Saraswati's plan, yes. But Davy could see from his satisfied expression that he liked her determination. I'm not gonna be slaughtered, and I feel bad that we're doubting Christian when he doesn't really show any reason to distrust him. But considering that the people that actually slaughtered parts of the dozen 5 years ago haven't been found, I understand that they're being a little more careful. Then I'll be waiting. When the Claire got up from his seat, Diana perked up and went outside to get the horses ready. It was time to say goodbye. Once the Claire left, Kamal pointed to a carriage. Miss Basu, Arat will escort you home. But your mother's eagerly waiting for your return. Devya gave Sarah a strange smile. Their plan worked, but now they had to deal with the consequences. This is ridiculous, I'm sorry, but oh well. Arat led the young lady to the carriage, planning to bring her home. He didn't touch his horse, knowing that Kamal was going to need it. Devi, we're going home too, to talk. Oh, get your ugly ass out of here. With a sigh, Davy unhappily trudged after him. No, I'm sorry, this bitch needs to leave. Like, he needs to go. Like I said, I understand. It could have gone wrong. But this is what happens. Like, not every single customer that we're trying to keep will remain with us. It doesn't matter who is trying to strike the damn deal. That's what happens when you try to make businesses with someone. Right now, they're just insanely mad because they're like, yeah, this is a dire situation and we need that damn deal. But we were capable to strike that damn deal, so shut up. Like, there is no reason for him to be behaving like, oh my gosh, what stupidity have you done? Like, shut up. By the time they got home, Kamal had stopped pretending he wasn't bothered. He flung the doors open, startling the servants, and walked inside. He stopped in the middle of the hall, turning to Davy. Well? What? Kamal looked at her sternly from under his thick dark eyelashes. His broad chest was clad in expensive black fabric, gold buttoning, glistening with every movement. I'm sorry, I would be rolling my eyes. I would show him the middle finger. I would be like, shut up, bitch. The golden light of the setting sun outlined Kamal's strong profile. Mr. Rai looked very handsome when he was displeased, but that didn't make it any easier. What do you have to say for yourself? I'm curious to see how you're going to talk your way out of this. I'm gonna tell you to fucking shove it. I was the one that closed the deal. You didn't have to do any convincing. If anything, this bitch should be proud. He should be proud that we were capable to actually do what our brother was capable to do, even though we're still on probation. Like, shut up. Like, I'm getting mad with this man. This man needs to leave. Kamal leaned his hip against the back of the sofa. He rolled a button between his fingers, slowly undoing his cuffs. Devia remained silent, watching intently as Kamal bent his wrist to loosen his clothes. Expensive rings glittered on his strong fingers. His family dagger was decorated with similar stones. He looked so serious as he's preparing himself to tell me off. What is he going to do? Scold me and be done with it? I'm waiting. I don't have anything to say to you. Dad, I have nothing to add to what I've already told you. I just wanted to help. We rushed there but arrived late anyway. The Lord had gotten there before us. What if I had waited at the Bazoo's house?
You could have ruined this deal. I told you, you're not ready yet, especially for a deal with the Governor General. It could have caused us real problems.
But it didn't, Kamal. Why don't you trust me? Am I that useless in your eyes? I have been studying hard to make you believe in me. Was it all in vain? Kamal stopped frowning and shook his head.
You're rushing things. The day will come when you will manage everything by yourself, but you need to be ready for it.
Well, apparently I was ready, because I was the one that struck the fucking deal. He crossed his arms and added,
You're very lucky that everything worked out today, because the business in general isn't looking good. I'd give you a good scolding, but we have more important matters to deal with right now. And here's Sharma, your uncle, is on his way to Calcutta. I'm sure he didn't send a word about his visit, so that he could show up unexpectedly and take us by surprise. Vidya and I think he will arrive within a few weeks. Do you see where I'm going with this? We need a plan.
Do we know for sure that he wants to stake a claim to my inheritance?
We believe so. The deal with the Lord will help you get the upper hand. Let the dozens see that you're capable of managing your affairs just as any other here.
Kamal frowned, thinking about something, then he nodded, resuming their conversation.
The reception, too. We need to hold a luxurious feast, and you'll prove yourself to be a wonderful hostess. Let the British take notice of you, and the local nobility will also see you differently. Not as a poor orphaned young woman, but as the rightful head of the Sharma family. Am I making myself clear?
So we're really going to do this? Invite those people into our house, into our society?
Vidya and I talked about this matter as well.
With a light wave of his hand, Kamal beckoned Davy over. He sat down on the back of the sofa facing her.
In their eyes we were weak and divided. It makes it even easier for them to oppress us, or to destroy us one family after the other. They know that we think they are responsible for the fight in the Himalayas. Who could have benefited from this conflict and our weakness?
I don't know. Every one of them?
Exactly, but we're the only ones being harmed. It's time to unite, gather our strength and show that we're not afraid of them. Otherwise we will never escape their oppression.
Kamal took Davia's hand in his and squeezed it gently, his voice steady.
Jan Harris, you play an important role in this after all. In all of this. And besides, even if I wanted to keep you out of this, it would be useless, right?
You know me well.
Then join the game. Take your uncle's visit seriously. You're the only one who can do this. I will make the necessary agreements for the reception. In the meantime, practice playing the sitar and impress the British, so that all they will be able to talk about is you. You're still playing, don't you?
I am. After her brother's death, Davy had given up all her pastimes. Even horseback riding no longer brought her the same pleasure. Maybe it even made her feel worse. Something inside her had changed on the night of Gaira's death, so she began looking for other pastimes, things that wouldn't remind her of the days spent at the mountain residence. Kamal was asking Davy to wear a nice outfit, put on a smile, and play cheerful music for those she hated with all her heart. She knew why he had asked that of her. She needed both the British and the Dozen to see her in a positive light. She had no choice but to play the game, like everyone else. I don't want to upset Kamal because he's like a brother to me. This bitch is nothing at this point. He's not special. At this point, I can't stand Kamal. Like, this is too much. And I've always wanted Kairas to be proud of me. Kamal spared no efforts so that I would become a worthy head of the Sharma family. I can't repay him by being fickle and argumentative. Devi nodded in agreement. Understand. I'll ask Aishwari to prepare my outfit for the reception. I'll take care of the paperwork and then practice playing the sitar.
You're being so obedient. Is this my reward for this difficult day?
Your reward was me being capable to close a fucking deal and you just being not of any use. Yes, you should enjoy it while it lasts.
Still, you should reflect on your behavior. I'm not happy that you disobeyed me and left without me.
Fine.
Don't make that face, you shameless girl.
What do you want from me?
Amrita must be around here somewhere. If you find her, please tell her to come down. We're going home tonight.
Sometimes Kamal and Amrita spent the night at the Sharma residence so that the house wouldn't be left without a man for too long. Mr. Rai was sure as soon as the dozen appointed Davy as the family head, she was going to marry one of the heirs, and he wouldn't have to worry any longer. He would have fulfilled his duty, and his heart would be at peace. He went about his business, and Devia went to her office. She ran into Amrita in the common hall as she was hurrying toward the office. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, you're here. Amrita was wearing an elegant Rujandi sari, and on her finger was the engagement ring of the DOOBAY family, the family she was going to join once she became Rai's wife. Due to the current state of affairs, the wedding kept being postponed. No one seemed in a hurry to get married and celebrate. The DOOBAYs were known for their long engagements. They were clearly keen to receive all the business benefits coming from the promised union, while also being able to easily free themselves from the obligation if the circumstances needed it. Kamal is worried about it, but Amrita doesn't seem to care. She only wants Rai's attention and the other heirs' jealousy. How did the deal go? A maid told me that my brother is in a bad mood. I disobeyed him and he didn't like it, but it doesn't matter. We signed the deal and we'll celebrate soon. Really? So the news of your uncle's arrival isn't worrying you? I'll figure something out. I'll find a way to turn things to my advantage. I know Kamal will help you. You and I are like sisters now. Davy laughed nervously. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call us sisters, more like best friends, and Kamal is only your brother. To me, he's more like a friend or a mentor. You're very keen to clarify this matter. Amrita smiled mischievously. Davy didn't have the energy to talk. It was time to part ways. Oh gosh. Yeah, because I did take a few romantic options. We see him as a friend, not as a brother. Wait for my invitation. Your brother will explain everything to you. Alright, I'll see you soon then. Amrita arched an eyebrow when Davy disappeared around the corner. The sun was slowly sinking below the horizon. By then, Davy had sorted through almost all the papers in front of her. At some point, she opened one of her books and saw something interesting. Dried flower. The dried purple flower had been humbly lying between those pages for several years. Davy looked at it pensively, her thoughts drifting to the past. That night in the field, Lord de CLARE, the young governor who had secretly arrived in Calcutta. It was not surprising that the burden of his power had forced him to mature and learn a lot. Yet Saraswati saw through him so easily. She was the only one who noticed that he could understand their language perfectly well. Now they were going to see each other again, and many more times in the future. Fate had certainly been weaving its pattern. Calcutta, West Bengal, a week later. Davy and Kamal had prepared the invitations and sent them out to the members of the dozen and the other guests. Lord de CLARE had confirmed his attendance. The servants were rushing around preparing for the celebration. After all, it was the first time in many years that the Sharma family was hosting such a reception. Everything had to be perfect. Some of the servants even discovered a new trait of Davy's personality. She was meticulous. Devya followed the preparations closely as soon as her work in Sita's practice allowed her to. She was standing in her bedroom changing. The guests were about to arrive and Devya wanted to greet them herself. Show me. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow. This reminds me of Jasmine. I don't know. You all know I love red. But this reminds me of Jasmine. And she's my favorite Disney princess. Next, she needed to style her hair. I love that hair. Oh my god. I don't know. I think this because it has blue gemstones. Aishwari gave her mistress an admiring look. All eyes will be on you, but it wouldn't hurt to. Suddenly the sound of the opening door interrupted them. Amrita hurried inside. Ooh, she looks so pretty. Thank you, Aisha. I'll take it from here. Miss Rai? Amrita began rummaging through Devia's dressing table. The maid hesitantly shifted from foot to foot. You can go. She'll do my makeup. She won't let anyone else do it. Aishwari nodded and left the young woman alone. Devi sat straight, letting her friend take care of her face. Did you come with Kamal and not the Dubais? Why do you think so? We came here together. Rai and Raj and Ram are downstairs. Oh, finally, my soulmate. But I thought I'd come up to check on you. The guests had begun to arrive and were being greeted by Kamal or Arad. Oh, wow. Okay. Ooh. A good in moderation. I think that suits the outfit, but... I'm gonna go with this one. Yes. It's fine. How do you like it? Thank you. I look prettier now. That's not all. Here. She took out something waiting from a box. Oh, God, okay. Expensive. Ooh. Nope. We're going in all. Stop here. It's beautiful. Now you're ready. Kamal asked me to check if you have your sata with you. It looks like he really wants me to perform. Of course, he's looking forward to it. What did Mr. Dubai think of this reception idea? Vidya didn't seem particularly happy. But it's better than us having to go to the Governor General's house. Amrita averted her eyes, shrugging her shoulders. He was in two minds about it. Like everyone else, Raj wants to make a show of our strength and unity, but at the same time he's worried. I think everyone will be on edge today. Being here won't necessarily make us feel safe. We know all too well how the British treat us. I doubt the Lord is planning to slaughter everyone here in my house in the middle of a busy city, and I can't help but think that what happened in the past was not his doing. His behavior wouldn't make sense otherwise. Amrita didn't say anything, pretending to study her festive outfit. She doesn't like to talk about that night. It was hard on her, but not harder than on me. Yet I managed to put on a smile, right? Surely she can do it too. If everyone stares daggers at each other, we won't be able to create the right atmosphere. They will only remember the hostility, but not me. I need to show myself in the best light, entertain them to make them forget about our hostility, be a welcoming host. I would have to say either A or C. Show myself in the best light, be a welcoming guest. Show myself in the best light. I'll be smiling and making small talk all evening. Let the British remember me like this and not as a frightened, weak woman. There was no use in waiting any longer, so they went downstairs. It was time to welcome their guests. Male voices echoed in the hallway. Devi saw Kamal, Raj, and Erit Takua. She greeted them respectfully. Who's Erit Takua? Devi could feel Kamal's eyes on her. His gaze felt surprisingly sharp and attentive. Kamal smiled and winked at Devi. Oh my God, look at this man. Not my choice, y'all. Wouldn't be my choice. He didn't let his gaze linger on her face too long. Quickly looking her up and down, he noticed her colorful outfit. The man resumed their conversation, but Kamal looked as if he was no longer listening to them. He turned away. You're welcome. That's what you're missing. You've captured Mr. Rai's attention. You're welcome. That's what you're missing, sir. Oh, wow. Okay, Raj. Raj is fine.
The west one. It would be much safer if we watch all the doors ourselves. Kamal, will you stand watch at the east one? Yes.
With Ram. They're planning which doors each of them will watch so that they will have an escape route in case we're attacked. I mean, better safe than sorry. It's like we're preparing for a massacre, not a celebration. Is this truly a reality? Try ignoring it, girl. The passing years had taken a toll on Raj, adding new wrinkles to his face. Among other things, the events of the past had toughened him up. Maybe even too much. People were afraid of Raj now. First the uprising many years ago, then the fire. The Maharaj had lost the last remnants of his mercy. Ooh, edit! Oh, he looks good.
Ram and I will watch the front door. The front door. That's the furthest one from the reception hall. He doesn't like social gatherings anyway.
Raj shrugged his shoulders displaced and crossed his arms.
Fine. It'll make our job easier. Now go, everyone. There's no need to crowd the hallway.
But I thought I had to greet the arriving guests. Sorry, I had to say it like this. Finally, Mr. DOOBAY turned to pay attention to Devia. He furrowed his brows thoughtfully as if seeing her for the first time. You're welcome.
You. Greet the guests. Are you a servant?
Why, can't I greet the guests? Amrita laughed. Devia, you're the mistress of the house. Let me greet the people. Without hesitation, Raj pointed in the direction of one of the halls, motioning for Eric to leave the hallway and bring the young women with him. Isn't greeting my guests a way to be polite to them?
Don't be silly. Half of them are here to see you. Let them look for you.
Ooh, I love Raj. I'm sorry. That was a nice way to be like, bitch, you're the queen bee. You don't have to look for the servants. You don't have to look for the mices. They can come looking for you.
You should lose yourself in the crowd and they should work to make your acquaintance.
Love this man. Then with a satisfied grin, Raj added quietly, I'll love him.
Let the short-lived but fruitful friendship begin.
Ooh, this man is out for vengeance. He's out for blood. Oh, God. Me. Edith gave Davy his arm to escort her into the hall. How soon will you join us? Amrita was eager to appear in public as Raj's fiancée. This woman will never get the hint, y'all. She will never get the hint, but I'm tired of repeating myself. Like, if she wants to go down this road, I can't do anything about it. The Dozen hadn't been holding any events recently, and therefore she never got to show off her ring.
Later.
Raj turned away from her to give Arad some more order. Devi took Edith's arm, and they followed Amrita out of the corridor. Like I did say, like, you can see when someone truly is in love with you. And you can see that he's not. The Sharma estate was slowly filling up with people. The members of the Dozen and the British expatriates arrived at the same time. People were smiling and greeting each other, even discussing matters of business they had in common. The Indians tried to look proud and welcoming. Many had long cultivated work relationships, so the crowd was not silent or awkwardly staring at each other. Everyone knew how to behave in such a social situation and engaged in relaxed conversations. However, it all felt slightly artificial, like the setting for a strange theater play. Spending time together in that way without a specific reason felt like something new, almost as if they were all playing off a Grotsky script. The subtle feeling permeated the atmosphere, obvious to everyone present. Devi stood among her friends, talking to Amrita and Erit. She occasionally looked around the hall to make sure everything was going as planned. Every now and then someone approached her, introducing themselves. She nodded politely and introduced herself in return. Some of them seemed to be very eager to make her acquaintance, just as Raj had predicted. Raj, Kamal, and a British man she didn't know were animatedly discussing something, their voices enthusiastic and in a good spirits. Where are Miss Bazoo and the twins? A man's hand suddenly brushed Davy's waist, its touch weightless. A soft voice sounded right next to her ear. Okay. So sorry. Okay. How's it going, sweetheart? How's it going? I've been waiting for your sorry ass to show up on my screen.
Miss Sharma.
Surprised, Devi turned around sharply. She immediately collected herself, forcing a smile. Ram.
Did I startle you?
He smiled enigmatically while shamelessly giving her an appraising glance.
I were playing hostess.
Yes. I am the hostess. Ram nodded understandingly and bit his lip, thinking about something. He then said, his tone mischievous.
The most desirable wife to be. She manages her own business and she's very attractive too.
Excuse you? Where is all this attitude coming from? I'm no one's wife-to-be, which means I can't be the most desirable of them. Are you sure about that? I think he was saying this because he thinks that you are his wife-to-be.
That's even better.
What did I say? What did I say? That was him saying you are my wife-to-be. Ram couldn't stay away when he saw you. Woohoo! He's like, I'm sorry, but you are the most desirable out of all of them. You literally are the most desirable out of all of them. Like, I see so many beauties out here, but you're the only one catching my eye.
How does it feel to be the center of attention? I wouldn't have expected you to be daring enough to do something like this.
Like what?
This multicultural reception, a risky and yet very wise move.
It's time to get things right. Sometimes it's worth avoiding open confrontations at first in order to prevail later.
Wow, managing your family affairs really suits you.
You're welcome. David was suddenly approached by a tall, beautiful woman, obviously not a local. Who are you? Who's this beauty?
Miss Sharma, I was so eager to lay my eyes on you.
Good evening.
Ophelia DOOBAY, I'm Lord Claire's guest.
Welcome. Devia glanced at her hand and couldn't stop. A wedding ring. Miss Daubeny. The woman seemed in no hurry to leave. She kept the conversation going until more people joined them.
I must admit, I'm very impressed with your home. Everything looks so unique.
We decorated this hall according to our traditions. All the British guests were dressed in a subdued but tasteful fashion, their clothes in muted shades of color. They danced in their own style, although the music was local. The Indian nobility looked more vivid, wearing colorful, elaborate outfits and engaging in joyful dance moves. Even their manner of speech was different. Like bright sparks in the darkness, the vibrant outfits of the members of the dozen stood out from the crowd of beige and black European clothes. It was as if two different worlds had collided in one hall.
May I introduce you to some of the other guests? They have so many questions for you.
Is this supposed to be some kind of interview? Davy's duty as a hostess was calling, and there was no hiding from it. After all, that was precisely what she had planned for. But Ram helped her. Ram saved the situation. What is going on? Ram saved the situation? Who am I to complain if this man is coming here to the rescue? Ram bowed to the woman in apology and calmly interjected.
Miss Sharma will join you later, if you don't mind. I have some business to discuss with her first.
Ophelia had heard about the younger DOOBAY, who wore an eye patch and whispered his will to the Maharaj, but she didn't expect him to talk to her.
But of course.
Mr. DOOBAY, nice to meet you.
Goodbye! Y'all, I think right now it's DOOBAY. It's this fine-ass man right now for me. I don't know, he just does something to me, y'all. While Ophelia was momentarily dazzled by such a meeting, something she planned to brag about later, no doubt, Ram leaned closer and whispered to Devi.
I'll head you away for a moment. We need to talk.
He cautiously looked around and furtively squeezed her hand.
Follow me.
What is going on with this man? Oh my god, I can't! Ah! DOOBAY pulled her away with him. Devi tried not to show her confusion and joy. He deftly maneuvered between the guests, not giving anyone a chance to stop her. Yes, watch me, bitches. This is mine. This is my man. Ram chose a secluded corner and pointed to a curtain that the servants had hung as a decoration. It covered an alcove where they could hide. I'm not going in there. My gratitude to you for saving me doesn't go that far.
Just take a look.
Devi pulled the fabric aside out of courtesy, thinking about what sort of quip she could come up with, but Ram gently pushed her inside. Damn, son! She took an awkward step forward and turned around in surprise. DOOBAY ducked down and followed her, leaning with one shoulder against the wall. It was blocking the way out, his arms crossed.
Can we talk in private?
And you had to push me? DOOBAY, what will happen if people see us together? They will think that we are together. Ram shook his head nonchalantly.
You ask me this question every single time. Do you really expect to hear a different answer?
It's not a question, but a warning. She sighed loudly. The heavy fabric that was chosen as a decoration for the main hall hid them away from the other guests. They could hear people talking very closely to them, and yet it felt as if Ram and Devi were alone.
You stopped attending the services. I barely see you anymore.
This man noticed that we're not there anymore, y'all. This man noticed we're not there. Now what does that say about him? This man has found himself looking for us. Do you miss me? Yes, he is. The corners of his lips turn up.
Yes.
Oh!
I miss you smiling and making eyes at me.
Right. Keep on telling yourself that. You were the one folding. You were the one falling for me first. I fell after.
Just like you're doing right now.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Y'all, like I'm ascending. I love this. You won't feel like joking if we're discovered. Let me out or get out yourself. Do you really think we should be doing this rather than talking to the guests? Oh, we can do this all we want. Like, as long as the British don't actually see us having sex, we can do anything we want. Debbie motioned to leave, but Ram didn't budge. She glared at him, but he just raised his eyebrows. Did you bring me here to talk or to tease me? Both.
Actually, I wanted to congratulate you on your first public appearance in your new role, albeit still to be confirmed.
And why did you need to be behind the huge curtain to congratulate me?
Because in front of everyone I couldn't do it.
Ram smoothly moved forward, agile like a predator. Devi flattened herself against the wall to let him go past her, but he still right in front of her.
This.
Huh? His hands rested against the wall on both sides of her, trapping her.
Well, listen to what I have to say now.
What is going on? What is going on? Davy gently pushed his chest away, flustered, but DOOBAY stepped even closer, leaning toward her and putting a finger to his lips.
Sure, you shouldn't make any loud noise. What will they think if they see us like this?
This man actually just repeated what we said. I can't with this man. Like, they are literally just match made in heaven. Path of passion. Devi smirked, taking Ram by the collar of his sherwani and pulling him even closer to her. Then she whispered,
Yes, what will they think if they see you as the unsociable and coveted Mr. DOOBAY fallen under my spell?
He has, and we're living for it.
Consumed by passion, he was ready to yield to his feelings right at the reception.
Love it.
Yield to what feelings?
To the lust. We can't say he's in love yet, but to his lust. At the ripe age of 28, you should be the one to know that. Devi could barely contain her laughter. It was difficult to stay serious in that situation, but Ram raised his hand and shushed her.
You shouldn't do this.
I shouldn't do what? Provoke you? Bitch, if you provoke me, I'm provoking you. I can't do anything if your dick is that weak in front of me. I can't do anything about that. Like, don't play with fire, you're gonna get burned. Like, if you don't want to get hard, you should provoke me. Like, I can provoke back. He slowly lowered one hand, moving it from the wall to Davy's waist. He ran his fingers over the fabric of her outfit and then hastily removed them, not allowing himself to cross the line. The movements of his hand filled the air with the fresh scent of lavender and yelling, emanating from his smooth skin dusted with freckles.
I really don't know how to listen to you.
Nope. Ram's soft voice and the outrageous closeness that he had allowed himself gave Davy a strange thrill. Me too! Go away! Go away! Move away! It's too much tension. Too much sexual tension. Move, leave. On one side, she was embarrassed and wanted to run away, to busy herself with something rational, something she could understand. But on the other, her feet were rooted to the ground, and she was in no hurry to end that conversation. Spit it out, Mr. DOOBAY.
I didn't dare bother you before, but now I think you should know about it.
About what?
Do you remember that night when I found you in the field and carried you back to the others?
I remember.
Mr. Weiss told me about your headaches. He asked me if I knew and what I thought about it.
Suddenly she didn't feel like laughing anymore, but Davia had been trained to control her emotions and keep a cool head, so she calmly replied, "Let's discuss this some other time. I have guests to entertain today." Her tone sounded slightly annoyed, but in reality she would have much preferred to stay there a little longer and keep talking, but she knew that wasn't the right time. Ram nodded, pleased with Davy's composure.
Go out first. I'll leave later to avoid gossip.
Sir, they know that you took me away. Ram caught himself thinking about you. I love this. He stepped back, freeing her way out of a clove. Davia smiled. Just don't hide here all evening, all right? You'll miss all the fun.
I hope there will be some fun worth not to be missed.
Oh, I'm fun enough. I'm fun enough, sir. Davy slipped out and approached Ophelia Daubigny's company. As promised, Ram rejoined Erit and Amrita. After all, she was about to become his brother's wife. No, she won't. After 1,000 smiles and 1,000 so pleased you could attend, Davy was beginning to worry about the fact that the Lord de Clare hadn't appeared yet, and neither had the twins. However, everything else seemed to be going fine. Davia even thought that the British expatriates who had approached her seemed fairly genuine in their courtesy. Some guests were talking about business or economics. Others were dancing merrily or enjoying the refreshments. The initial uneasy atmosphere was gradually subsiding. The Indians didn't notice any particularly arrogant behavior from the British guests, something they'd heard so much about, and the British also found the locals to be perfectly pleasant company. I shouldn't get my hopes up just yet. Only the Lord's inner circle is here today, and he's known for his progressive views. Besides, the guests are only having light-hearted conversations. More serious topics may prove more controversial and potentially cause arguments because their backgrounds are just too different. Everyone seems to be choosing the words carefully to avoid any issue. It's like we're sitting on a powder keg. How funny. Kamal and Raj made sure to guard the doors, but our foreign guests are probably just as frightened of us as we are of them. Well, they did that to themselves, I have to say.
It's completely different in China, isn't it? Yes, you'd be surprised by how much.
What is going on? The reception was in full swing, but the Governor-General was still nowhere to be seen. That was not only annoying, but also worrying. Is he running late? Or did he change his mind? Then what's the point of me going to all this effort? And how could Miss Bazoo have missed this reception? Ophelia, who was standing next to her, asked her a question, but Davy was so lost in her thoughts that she didn't hear. Suddenly, she realized everyone was looking at her, waiting for her answer.
Reginald doesn't believe it, but I disagree with him. Am I right?
Okay.
Please, tell me she's right. Her opinion is way more interesting.
Yes. No, I'm sorry, what was the question? What's the question? Like, I have no idea. We're not gonna smile dumbly, like... What was the question? Devi honestly admitted that she hadn't heard what was said to her. We can use the fact that we are Bengali. We can use the fact that we are not local. We can use the fact that we are not British. And they're talking in British. Like, I'm sorry. It was the language barrier. I keep looking around to make sure the evening's going well, and sometimes I get distracted. Ophelia's friends nodded understandingly, impressed by how responsible the young hostess was demonstrating to be.
We're debating about something. Our good friend traveled around India and told us that the local priests perform special rituals. A lot of people take part. They are all naked and they...
Ophelia, mind your words.
My apologies. I was just wondering whether it's true, because I've also heard others say the priests practice abstinence.
As she said that, she glanced at Ram DOOBAY's tall frame. Hands off my man.
So we thought we'd ask you, Miss Sharma, which one is it? The priests engage in group, services, or abstinence?
If I say anything specific, it will definitely get people gossiping. It's good that I asked them to repeat their question. How did they even land onto this topic of conversation? Because they think they care. Your honesty prevented the spreading of rumors. Good, at least something. Amrita stood next to her, holding back a smile. Neither is true. That's my answer.
Awake, I knew it was all lies.
Davy's worries were soon put to rest as the guests perked up and began whispering, turning towards the hallway. Davy realized.
Lord de Clare's here. Are you going to go greet him personally?
Do I have a choice? No, we don't. And it's fine. Let's greet this bitch. Sorry. Sorry. To her surprise, the Bazoos walked in right next to the Governor General. It looked like they had all arrived together. Davy walked down the stairs, attracting the newcomer's attention. Christian de Clare said something to Vidya, and then raised his eyes. Oh, wow, nice outfit. Oh, he fine. He fine too.
Good evening, Miss Sharma.
His gaze quickly shifted from Davy's face to her body, but remained inscrutable. Sir, you can't hide it. You like what you see. Christian nodded cheerfully, noticing her elaborate outfit, not wanting to be impolite. He added, Sir, you can't lie. You can't lie to me.
Even if I didn't know you already, a simple glance would tell me that you are the mistress of this house. Only woman of your station can look so flawless and yet natural.
Oh, thank you. Dignity.
I hope I haven't missed all the fun.
It's difficult to impress the Lord, but you did. You're welcome. Well aware of the rules of etiquette, David replied with a polite joke. High dignity, period.
I shall think that now that you're here, the fun is all ahead of us.
Oh, I love this outfit.
You look pleased. Is everyone enjoying your reception?
I'm pleasantly surprised, Miss Bazoo, but yes, they are. Vidya pursed her lips to hide a smirk. Only the gods knew what was going through her head and what she was planning. Davy asked cautiously, Did you arrive at the same time? What a coincidence.
We picked up the Lord de Clare on our way here.
Rash and Kamal appeared at the entrance to the hall.
Mrs. Bazoo, Lord de Clare, you're just in time. People are finally beginning to dance.
Raj didn't have time to say hello. He noticed Radha among the others. She was especially beautiful that day. His gaze lingered on her. He was almost helpless before his feelings. Oh, I can't. I feel bad for them because they love each other. Radha turned away, a sad expression on her face, and Raj understood. Neither his engagement nor the difficult circumstances could weaken their bond. It had become their shared pain. I feel bad for them, like they really love each other. Let me show you to the hall, Lord de Clare. Everyone has been eagerly waiting for your arrival. They all walked up the grand staircase. Davy's anxiety had faded a little, allowing her to feel considerably calmer. Diana and Arad, the assistants of the two most important people attending that event, followed at a respectful distance. They didn't seem to be interested in talking to each other.
I see the reception has already started to tire you out a little.
Saraswati smoothly appeared next to Devi. She spoke quietly so that no one apart from them could hear. Yes, I don't think I have ever participated in as many insane conversations before in my life. If anyone else tries to talk to me about the weather, I may start to scream, me! Christian was deep in conversation with Radha and Vidya. It seemed apparent that he had met Vidya many times before and done business with her. Since she was preparing to hand over the reins to her daughter, he was clearly interested to test the waters and get to know the young heiress better.
Oh, she has such a beautiful outfit too. We picked up the Claire on our way here. That's why we were late. We made a huge detour.
Why?
Mother insisted. She said that it would only be safe here when the Lord arrived. She was waiting for him to go first, but the Claire was held up by some urgent business.
The Governor General wouldn't go to a place where he's planning for a massacre to happen. Since he's here, this must really be just a reception. I should stop worrying.
How did the evening go so far? Did you have fun?
I was bored without you. It'll be more fun with you. It will be more fun with you, girl. Devi casually took Saraswati's arm so that it would be easier for them to whisper to each other. Everyone here is so stiff and courteous. We could use a little bit of your madness. Sara slowly turned around, her lips curling in an ominous smile.
Really? But aren't we all here thanks to my madness? Whose idea was this?
Oh, silence, girl. You know what I mean. Yours, Miss Bazoo. You appreciate all of Saraswati's qualities, even the questionable ones.
Then you better not mess with me. By the way,
Sara nodded in the direction of Christian's broad back.
on the way here, the Lord was asking a lot of questions about you, and my mother was more than happy to answer in detail.
What kind of questions?
About your position and what circumstances in your life had led you here.
They talked about my dowry and my brother's death? Saraswati pressed her lips together, averting her eyes, which means yes. That was what she did whenever she was trying to avoid a direct answer. Yep, that's what she did.
I think he definitely already knew about Kairos and the fire, just like everyone else. Maybe he just wanted a first-hand account. Don't be angry. The Lord is very impressed with you. It's not every day that he gets the chance to attend a reception hosted by one of the heiresses of the Chosen, and an unmarried one at that.
I'm not angry, I'm just concerned. As they walked toward the hall, Radha took the first opportunity to join Raj and Kamal's conversation, and Miss Bazu beaconed Saraswati to tell her something. Christian and Devi found themselves walking next to each other, the only ones not involved in any conversation. However, the CLARE remained silent, observing the decorations. Thank God he's silent. I should be polite and strike up a conversation. Damn, she's like, thank God this bitch is silent. Let's be polite and strike up a conversation. Come on. Catching the Lord's eye, Devi spoke calmly. Your friends have been entertaining me all evening. You must never be bored in their company.
My friends are not here.
No, I meant the guests from your list. Christian knew that she was trying to make conversation out of courtesy. She was so young but so ready to humbly fulfill her duty.
These people weren't entertaining you. They were studying you. You will be the subject of the conversations for the next 3 balls, at least. But you're doing pretty well, better than I expected.
As they reached the entrance to the hall, Christian bowed very slightly.
I hear you prepared a surprise for your guests. I'm looking forward to it.
The moment he stepped inside, his acquaintances rushed to greet him and pay their respects. All right, everyone is here. Now we can begin. I will perform for them in 10 minutes as promised. Devi turned around and addressed her assistant. Arat, please go fetch my sitar. I ought to get started.
I'll be right back, miss.
He hurried away to carry out her order, and Radha and Saraswati tapped Devi on the shoulder.
I'm looking forward to your beautiful playing, little bird. This hobby of yours is definitely more useful than your saver practice.
Ha.
Who said you get to decide which one of our hobbies is most useful?
Saraswati dragged her sister away so as not to block the entrance and so that Devya could get ready in peace. Damn, like Saraswati is very perceptive. This woman is very possessive over us, I see. Kamal was silent. He didn't want to make her uncomfortable. He still couldn't believe she'd agreed to play for the British. Hiding in the background, Devya waited for her assistant to return. Ooh. She adjusted her grip on the instrument, gathering her courage. My plan was to play the sitar, but I could also dance a little. No one is expecting me to. It could be fun. Still unsure about what to do, Devi got ready to perform. She carefully sat down on the pillows that had been prepared for her in the most beautiful part of the hall. She took off her shoes and put them to the side. Surrounded by lush green flowers and golden decorations, Devya felt all eyes on her. This piece is my own composition. I wanted to convey Shiva's feelings for his wife Parvati in the moments when she reincarnates into her other hypostasis, Mahadeva Kali. He not only accepts her and loves even her darkest manifestations, but also knows how to pacify her. Mahadeva Shiva is the only one Kali will listen to. And let's go with Mahadeva. Shiva is literally the pure soul that is capable to calm her most darkest moments, her most darkest impulsive. Like I said, we dark souls seek the presence of a light soul because they bring the light and positivity into our life that we don't allow ourselves to feel anymore. And light-hearted people, as in the light, is looking for darkness because we allow ourselves to behave in a way that they would never allow them to, as in they restrain themselves from behaving like we are, but they wish that they would have enough balls to behave like us, as in like the dark souls. I love this. This is our philosophy, my dear guests. Everyone has their own idea of harmony. The guests surrounded the improvised stage, eager to see what the hostess had prepared for them. The Lord was standing in the front row, wearing a sitar's plectrum. Davy decided on a full performance. We do everything. She decided that besides playing the sitar, she would also dance. That would surely cheer everyone up. Davy glanced at the crowd. They didn't look particularly happy, and their smiles were clearly only a facade to avoid any awkwardness. They really wanted to smooth things over. She was responsible for that reception, and that was her problem to solve. She picked up the instrument, gathering her thoughts, and then she began plucking the strings. Oh, wow. The only thing that is right is the eye makeup. Oh, wow. That's a nice thing. I like that. This is a video. Okay. The sitar created a sonorous and lingering sound that echoed throughout the hall. The melody was quiet at first, creating a sense of mystery. The British guests watched Davy with smiles on their faces. That was the first time they had heard traditional Indian music performed by a noble woman. The locals, who some British ladies had come to their homes to be entertained with music and singing, didn't leave quite the same impression. One of the richest women in the whole of Bengal had graciously agreed to play for her guests, and they were captivated. Her slender fingers flew across the dandi of the sitar, plucked the strings, and the plectrum helped them thrill and sing. At some point, the dandi is the neck of the sitar, along which the strings are stretched. Okay. At some point, Davy stood up, waving at someone. A man sat down on the pillows instead of her and continued playing. Davy began to dance, path of passion. Her movements were bright, passionate, and lively. Davy didn't think about what would look right or beautiful. She just immersed herself completely in the frantic rhythm, and feeling all eyes on her gave her courage and strength. Christian the Clare, Saraswati, and Ram were standing on one side, looking at her with interest. Let's go. I did myself dirty. I played. Kamal and Radha were standing on the other side with other guests. Oh, let's go. This just shows that I should have chosen the other outfit, but I didn't. I couldn't. This outfit reminded me of Jasmine. Dignity. As she finished the dance, Devya cheerfully winked at. Oh God, all the guests are absolutely amazed. You know how to impress. All right. Kamal, no. Christian, oh God. Oh, we can even smile at Radha. Christian or Ram. Oof. I want to smile at Ram so badly, y'all. I don't know why. I kind of want to know what Christian thinks. How is Christian looking at me? What is this man thinking? Did I manage to break his defenses? Christian. Lotte Claire was surprised when she looked at him and winked. Nah, not the savage smile. We're breaking this man's defenses. That's what I want. He grinned, crossing his arms over his chest, and stared back at her. He liked that. I can't. So sorry. When Davy stopped, everyone stood completely silent for a second, and then the hall erupted in thunderous applause. The British guests were looking at her with even more interest now. They had never seen such a performance before. The members of the dozen were nodding with pride as if they had been the ones dancing and not Davy. After thanking everyone for their attention, Davy left to freshen up. Bye. I'm leaving you all with an open jaw and leaving you all stranded. Goodbye. The guests' excitement over the hostess playing gradually turned back into polite conversation. It was a most delightful evening. Some guests kept chatting for hours, while others were busy dancing. The whole atmosphere felt more relaxed than at the beginning of the evening, in part thanks to the young hostess. Joining back her guests, Davy received a lot of praise. Some of it was just flattery, of course, but not all of it. As she looked around, considering whose conversation she should join next, Davia heard a loud clap rise above the multitude of voices and music. The Lord was walking toward her, clapping his hands. I cannot. Like, you all know this moment from movies where someone is like slowly clapping, but it's like the clap of an evil guy. Where he's like, oh, bravo, bravo, you actually thought you could stop my evil plan. This time it's not, but you all know what I mean.
That was very impressive. I was thoroughly captivated.
I could see that.
Were you always planning to dance, or was that a spur-of-the-moment decision?
What do you think?
If that was you improvising, I'm absolutely fascinated. You have many talents. That deserves respect, and I'm sure you will soon have many more chances to impress us all. Right now, for example.
The Lord held out his gloved hand. Huh?
Would you do me the honor of this dance, Miss Sharma?
Excuse him! He says let's dance?
This would mark the most natural conclusion for this evening, which will certainly be remembered by many.
What kind of dance are you offering, Lord de Clare? I believe we were taught different styles.
Sure, we can find a compromise.
Miss Sharma and the Governor General dancing together was likely to be interpreted as a sign of their desire for international cooperation, which was much better than conflict and hostility. But was it just about politics? No, it was not. We poked the bear. I will dance with you. I'm playing with fire. I regret nothing, though. She agreed so easily and quickly that Christian was slightly taken aback.
Wonderful. Then may I?
He led Davia to the center of the hall. As they saw her with the Lord, her friends turned their heads in her direction, a surprised look in their eyes. The once reckless and hard-headed Davia Sharma surprised them. As Ram had said, managing her family affairs suited her. Once they found themselves among the other dancing guests, Christian and Davia stood in front of each other. She put one hand on his shoulder and the other in his palm. De Clare put his hand on Davia's waist. That image further consolidated their business relationship. Some guests stepped aside, giving the couple more space. Finally, they began to dance smoothly, carefully, and in a very appropriate manner. There was no unnecessary touching, and they kept their distance. Nevertheless, they struck up a conversation.
Did you enjoy the reception?
Very much. After all, I'm the one who organized it.
It was your friend's idea. I hope you are satisfied with how your plan turned out.
The Lord grinned. Davia didn't quite understand what he was trying to say. I beg your pardon.
There's no need to pretend, Miss Sharma. We're in the same position. Understand how uncomfortable it would have been for you to come to my home. But you were subtle when you proposed to move the reception to your grounds. That is the sign of a good family ahead. I had to work hard to persuade my people. But I was glad to be the one shouldering that burden rather than you have to do it.
Why are you doing this?
Doing what?
The dancing was changing. Their movements were getting more intense, and sometimes Christian and Davia got too close to each other. That's what happens when a situation becomes heated. They stared into each other's eyes, their expression no longer bored and impassive. Feelings were running high. Although the Lord seemed to be dancing without any effort, every movement felt like an emotion. Are you telling me all this to make me feel guilty? Or do you expect me to be thankful for your graciousness?
I only wanted you to know that this reception wasn't easy for me either, and that I'm not a fool and I can see everything.
And what can you see exactly, Lord de Clare?
I can see how angry you are, Miss Sharma. Are you annoyed because you didn't manage to outsmart me?
Where have your manners gone? Are you in such a rush to argue with me?
I just want us to...
You want us to what? As the music came to an end, de Clare pulled Davia toward him with a little too much energy, and she bumped into his chest instead of being able to stay a step away from him. It was almost as if he had been overcome by his emotions, even though he was trying not to show it. The man looked Davia in the eye and calmly added,
To be honest with each other, since we are now bound by a business deal, and possibly even more than that.
What are you talking about?
How serious are you about becoming the official Sharma heiress and getting what you want?
More than serious. But why are you asking?
You're about to find out.
Yeah, he wants us to be his bride. The Claire let go of her, taking a step back. The other guests were staring at them. A simple dance seemed to have grown into something more. Dignity.
Thank you, Miss Sharma.
Your dance captivated everyone. It will be talked about for a long time. He looked around at the crowd.
Now that the main part of this reception is over and the guests have warmed up a little, I have something to announce.
Ah? Lord de Clare prepared to make a statement. Of course. Of course, this man is something else. Of course he would be doing all of this. But I mean, we all knew that this day was coming. We knew this man would be captivated, and we knew that he was gonna choose us as his bride after Rati was killed in that fire 5 years ago. But we shall see. I have nothing more to add. I kind of like the animosity between Christian and Devi. I like it. I really do. I kind of get what a lot of you were talking about, but right now it's between Christian and Ram. Like, I like both of them. This will be very, very difficult, y'all. Very difficult. But we shall see. I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.